All right, so this is how to reinvent yourself in 4 months or 120 days. And this is going to be as step by step as I can make it. This is more honestly of a personal story of how I did it, how my life kind of changed. In full transparency, I just want to get this right out of the way. It took me a solid 12 months for sure. It took me a good year to completely change everything, but I really did make a huge financial leap and mental leap in early 2022-ish when I started my business, right? Like 4 months is long enough for real change, but it's short enough to stay motivated. And honestly, this is just going to be a very simple video, in my opinion, of what you can realistically change in 4 months or 120 days. I think this is a good time to be making this. I know the resolutioners, New Year's is kind of over. So I just want to break this down month by month as clear as I can. Let's go. So month one, this is just what I did, was almost like a self-audit. I call it like the brutal self-assessment, if you will. Just ask yourself, what does my day look like now? What am I good at? What am I struggling with? This could be focus. This could be, video games. This could be whatever, right? Narrow it down to 2 to 3 things that you're really caught up on. This could be anything. And I mean, even if you have to, like I said, write this down, put it in a Google Doc, whatever. At this point, you're probably going to start seeing some patterns and realizing what you need to change. Some easy pointers, I would say, is like a digital detox. I was super addicted to my phone a few years back, especially with no money being made. There's a difference between a phone addiction and you're making a killing, a lot of money, versus just scrolling, right? Doom scrolling. We don't want to do that. And even change like your physical space if you need to. Go somewhere new physically. Find an Airbnb. I did this with a tiny home on like a couple acres of land. It was like $1,000 or something total, all in all, but it was like 3-4 hours away from where I lived, and it was just really cool to get in a new space, and it allowed me to think differently. My mindset was just like totally open. I was like, this is totally new. It's a fresh environment, new people, new grocery stores, new gym. I stayed there for a little less than a week, but it was enough time for me to really see a change, as weird as that sounds. And start to realize this is where you're going to start thinking. A lot of self-reflection happens during that time about relationships and what needs to change in your life. This could be family, friends, coworkers. You need to understand that you need to be extremely scarce on who you're sharing your energy with, right? So once you do that, at least for me, it was like find a good sleep and morning routine, get a good walk in during the mornings. I've talked about this on stream a bunch. 20 minutes is my non-negotiable. I get outside, it gets the brain firing, and then you're going to feel good enough to get in the gym full time. This is what happened to me, and I felt amazing. And then I finally had some momentum. If you've listened to this channel long enough, you know that I'm all about momentum. So this is more like the reflective self-audit kind of basic phase, but it's the foundation. You need this. You absolutely 100% need this. And a final thing I'd like to add here, no affiliation, no promo, nothing. Go to futureme.org. I'll leave it in the description. Like I said, I have no affiliation, but I used it years ago to write 2 different letters to my future self. One was like a year or two, and then another one I have set for a decade. It's a really cool kind of software tool that emails you your own letter in the future. It's really interesting. Highly recommend checking that out. By month 2, we are in the skill development phase, okay? So this is where you're identifying your high-value skills. Again, you know I'm big on this, the personal value audit. What can you sell and market to the world? This could be skills, knowledge, whatever, education, whatever you have that somebody else doesn't, someone is willing to pay you for that. Okay, so you need to map out an offer, if you will, something that you can actually go to market with or go to sell. And this could be if you want to get back into school, if you want to find that job, if you want to start that business. That's exactly what this is. And you're going to need, shout out Cal Newport, I believe his name is the deep work system. This is where I just had 90-minute, about 1 to 2 hour focus blocks that was just like phone on do not disturb, headphones in, just dialed in. It doesn't even matter if I don't do work. I just need to be sitting and having no distractions, and naturally the work kind of talks about or happens, I guess, in front of me. Super important here. And I'd recommend setting up some type of progress tracking systems, right? So this could be a sheet. This could be some type of daily log that you write to yourself. This is really good for maintenance of your motivation, because you're not going to be able to see things, a huge drastic change on a day-by-day basis. But when you track this stuff weekly, you're like, oh crap, like I made some serious progress. I started cold emailing for customer acquisition. I got enrolled into the course that I wanted to. I reached out to 20 different companies for hiring me as their software engineer. Like, these things are super important. And this also like rapidly helps you learn. It's a simple learning framework, right? This is like skill stacking. And this is just where you need to absorb as much as you possibly can of yourself and realize what you add to the world, but also, what others are going to be able to see you and pay you thousands of dollars a month for. By month 3, 90 days in, or I guess at the beginning of 90 days in, you should start to be seeing some income. You should start to be seeing something transferable. This is like a financial and career kind of transfer phase, right? So this could be, again, like a side hustle. You could be coming up with some systems on how to make your business work better. This is where you got some cash flow coming in, so you're kind of optimizing that, and you're automating also what you can, whether it's when like the business sense or the education sense, you're starting this. This is where the key point comes in, which is a huge mistake that I made that I very much so regret now, is the personal brand development. You need to be documenting everything. I can't explain how important this is, and I wish I had videos just for myself, but also building an audience. This will be a separate video that I'm going to make on why you really only need, 1,000 people, 1,000 followers, 1,000 subscribers to completely overhaul, to completely change your life. And it's because people relate to people on the come up. People relate to journey content, to you as a person. It doesn't matter what the hell you're working on. I guarantee you there is a niche for what you are actively involved in on a day-to-day basis, right? So record everything, sales calls, meetings, your freaking classes. I don't care. Just throw on the camera, record absolutely everything, upload it to YouTube, and do what you can. Just put it out there, and you're going to see it really starts to compound itself. And this is just having a digital presence is huge, obviously, as you can imagine in this day and age. And it's so damn important. You're also naturally going to be able to network more. This is when my business just naturally started to grow, because I started putting myself out there. And then I finally started getting more inbound, customers and inbound conversations and referrals of people putting good words out there for me. Nobody knows who you are if you don't put yourself out there, right? This not only goes for content, this goes for calls, this goes for, customers, everything, right? So this is super important. Month 4, this is where things start to accelerate. This is where you're really starting to hopefully have some traction, hopefully have some momentum at this point, and you need to have your own feedback loops. It's like, okay, if I do this, if I send 20, 30, 50 emails a day, how many replies am I getting from potential customers, right? If I want to start a fitness coaching company, how many messages do I need to send per day that I can predictably get 1 or 2 positive replies back? That was my mental. It's like just one. If I could just get 1 positive person or feedback loops per day, I'm going to be able to close eventually at least a couple of people per week at thousands of dollars a month. That's a lot of money, right? This again is where the compound effect, almost like calendar, comes in, where it's like, holy crap, we're almost like doubling. Like if we could continue doing this for a week, then we continue rising our business. We get a customer every week, then we're going to be able to get 2 or 3 every month. Then we're going to be able to turn that into a week, 2 to 3 every week, and just constantly repeat that system, right? So this is also where you have some leverage. You can almost design your life, right? You can time block your ideal week. You can start to hire employees. You can manage your energy and time better, right? This is why dashboards and just tracking this stuff as you get, more experience is so damn important, because you only have so many hours in a day. If you watched my last or second last video, you know how big I am on delegation and leverage and getting yourself out of the nitty-gritty as quickly as you possibly can. By month 4 also, you need to have a future self annualization or visualization. Be like, okay, what is my 1, 3, and 5 year plan? And then just work around that, right? Always work backwards. For example, honestly, full transparency, I work backwards from my titles. I don't care about any of these, talking points in these videos. I'm like, just give me a title and I could figure out the rest from there. That's how you should feel about your life. It's like, okay, if I want $5 million in the bank, a family of 4, and a nice house with a bunch of land, how do I work backwards from there? How much money is that going to take? Awesome. How much is that divided per year? Awesome. How much is that divided per month? It's the same framework with your life and your work, right? At least in the beginning. So this is what I did. And then the big thing here, this is where most people fall off. Steps 1 to 4 is pretty damn simple. It's the end of 4 that people get off on, and that's maintaining the momentum. This is what I call like a 4-month sprint. If by month 5 or 6, you're starting to lose it all, it's like, dude, what are you doing? You just worked your ass off for like 4 straight months, 120 days of just 12 hours a day. You know that, like, full transparency, that's how much I worked, 10 to 12 hours a day for the first, I feel like it was longer. I feel like it was like 6 months to a year, but minimum 4 months, dude. You're going to have to do that. It's just inevitable, right? So do not throw a wrench in any of that stuff. Get out of your own way. Realize that you have some serious momentum. It's just about putting more fuel on the fire at that point, right? So If there's any like more practical or just basic tools, it's very simple stuff, right? You need accountability, you need tracking systems, sheets, Google Docs. All of this stuff is free. It doesn't cost you any single bits of money, and there's just always like recap your day, recap your weeks, your months. Think of how much progress you can make in just a year, dude, let alone 4 months. I know this video is 4 months related, but 1 year can completely change you, completely overhaul you as a person, physically, mentally, financially, everything. But 4 months, if you give this thing the legs that it needs, you're going to be able to take off. You're going to be able to make a lot of damn money. So I hope I was able to get some questions answered. Like I said, a simple recap: self-audit, month 1, month 2, skill development, month 3, almost like a financial and career transformation, surplus, if you will. That's when things really start taking off. And then month 4, it's like, okay, how do we accelerate this? How do we scale this? How do we make sure that this momentum is continued? And that's pretty much it. So as always, if you've made it this far, I want to see you win. Comment below with questions, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.